Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you is nothing short of massive for the NFL and potentially season-altering for the Dallas Cowboys. This isn't speculation. This isn't rumor. This is confirmed, breaking news. Asante Samuel Jr., one of the most talented and polarizing cornerbacks in the league, is officially signing with the Dallas Cowboys. That's right after months of speculation, weeks of free agency whispers, and what seemed like endless waiting, it's finally happening. The former Los Angeles Chargers cornerback, known for his elite ball hawking skills, tight man coverage, and undeniable football pedigree, is heading to Big D. And let me tell you right now, this changes everything. For the Cowboys, for their defensive backfield, for the NFC playoff picture, and maybe even for the Super Bowl conversation. I know it sounds dramatic. But when you look at the numbers, the timing, and the potential, this move could be the catalyst that puts Dallas over the top. Now, for those who may not be familiar with Samuel's full background, maybe you've only caught glimpses of his highlight reels or remember the name from his father's legendary career. Let's get this straight. Asante Samuel Jr. came into the NFL as a second-round pick by the Chargers in 2021 out of Florida State, and he quickly made a name for himself. He showed from day one that he inherited the instincts, intelligence, and playmaking ability that made his dad a Pro Bowl regular. In his rookie season alone, he made an immediate impact, flashing quick feet, great anticipation, and the kind of aggressive mentality that defensive coordinators dream of. Since entering the league, he's totaled multiple interceptions, numerous pass breakups, and has earned a reputation for being a headache to any quarterback trying to throw into his zone. While he's not the biggest or most physical corner on the field, standing at about 5'10" and weighing around 180 pounds, he makes up for that with speed, smarts, and sharp technique. And now he's bringing that talent to a Dallas secondary that has desperately needed a boost. Let's be honest, the Cowboys have had a rocky offseason when it comes to their defensive backfield. Trayvon Diggs, arguably the cornerstone of their secondary, has been rehabbing from a major injury. Jordan Lewis is gone. Other younger players are still developing and have yet to truly prove themselves against top-tier competition. And while Dallas still has talent on the roster, there's been a glaring need for someone who can step in right away and bring both experience and upside to the unit. That's exactly where Samuel fits in. He's not just a veteran presence, he's a playmaker. He's the kind of guy who can flip a game on a single snap, turning a deep pass into an interception, turning a critical third down into a drive-killing deflection. He thrives in man coverage, reads routes like a seasoned vet, and has the kind of ball skills that make offensive coordinators lose sleep. But what makes this move even more fascinating is how it came together. Samuel was considered one of the more intriguing names in this year's free agency pool, especially once the Chargers made it clear they weren't bringing him back. A few teams were circling. There were rumblings about Arizona, New Orleans, even Miami getting in on the mix. But none of those teams pulled the trigger. Why? Well, part of it came down to concerns about his health. He had some issues last season, including a shoulder stinger and some minor neck complications that slowed him down during the second half of the year. That made some front offices hesitant to invest major money or long-term guarantees. But that's where Dallas played it smart. Instead of overpaying or making a hasty decision, they waited. They monitored the situation. They kept the lines of communication open with his camp, and when the time was right, they made their move. What we're hearing now is that it's a one-year, incentive-laden deal, low risk, high reward. The kind of deal championship teams make. If he stays healthy, and if he performs anywhere near his ceiling, this could go down as one of the best free agent pickups of the entire offseason. But beyond just the numbers and the contract, let's talk about the impact, because that's where this move really shines. Dallas now has the luxury of flexibility. They don't need to rush young corners into big roles. They don't need to panic if Diggs isn't 100% ready to go by week 1. And they don't need to gamble with matchups when they're facing elite wideouts like a Jay Brown, Deebo Samuel, or Justin Jefferson. Samuel can step in immediately as a starting nickel corner, lock down the slot, and give Dan Quinn or whoever's leading the defense a chess piece they can move around based on scheme and opponent. He gives them options, depth, insurance, and more importantly, he gives them playmaking. That's something you just can't teach. That innate ability to jump a route, to read a quarterback's eyes, to turn a simple curl into a pick six. Samuel has it. Always has. And let's not ignore the pedigree either. Being the son of an NFL legend isn't a guarantee of success, but it certainly shapes a player's mindset. Samuel Jr. has grown up around the game. He understands the pressure. He's used to the spotlight. He doesn't fold under scrutiny, and he doesn't back down from challenges. In fact, if anything, he seems to thrive in those moments. And in Dallas, where the media microscope is stronger than ever and every game feels like primetime, that kind of mentality is essential. Now, let's shift to the fan base because reactions have been electric. You've got die-hard Cowboys fans who are over the moon, calling this one of the smartest moves the front office has made in years. People are flooding social media with hype videos, throwback clips of Samuel's interceptions, and side-by-side comparisons with digs that suggest this could be one of the most dynamic cornerback duos in the league. Of course, there are also skeptics. Some worry about his size, others point to the injury history. That's fair. No player is without risk. But when you consider what Dallas paid for him and what he brings to the table, the upside far outweighs the concerns. And for a team that's been knocking on the door of a deep playoff run for the last few seasons, sometimes you need to make that bold, calculated move to push you over the edge. This feels like that move. The timing also couldn't be better. With training camp around the corner and preseason positioning up for grabs, Samuel will have time to get acclimated, build chemistry with his teammates, and learn the defensive scheme inside and out. He'll compete for snaps, sure, but don't be surprised if he quickly asserts himself as one of the most reliable and impactful players in the unit. He's got that dog mentality. He's got that chip on his shoulder. And now, in a new environment, with something to prove and a team full of weapons around him, he's got the perfect setup to shine. And one more thing, this move sends a message. It tells the league that Dallas isn't sitting back. They're not satisfied with just being good, they're going for greatness. They saw a need, they found the right piece, and they pounced. That kind of aggressiveness is what separates contenders from pretenders. And while there's still a long road ahead, camp battles, preseason matchups, the grind of the regular season, the addition of Samuel Jr. gives the Cowboys another weapon in their arsenal. Another spark. Another reason to believe that this might be the year. So whether you're a die-hard Cowboys fan, a skeptical analyst, or just a football junkie following the biggest off-season stories, this is one to watch. Asante Samuel Jr. is in Dallas. It's official. It's urgent. And it could very well be one of the biggest signs of intent we've seen all year. Stay tuned, because this story is just getting started.